Dude,
beating the shit out of him.
if you had talked to me like 10 years ago, I would have said, everyone do steroids. It'd be so much fun to watch, etc. As if these weren't real people. But I'm friends with Joe Lozon.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know Joe. And
I still thought that until really
Joe
recently.
is clean. I don't know how well you know Joe, but he doesn't even take like ibuprofen. Like he's a very clean fighter. And I think to myself, like, damn it, dude! Like he's had a whole career. I think he has like 22 UFC fights, something close to that. And I think it's 20. Anyway, he must have bumped into somebody with steroids along the way. Like that sucks. Like there's no way.
Well, I mean, statistically, if we're going to look at the era in which he fought, half of his fights were against a PED user.
I wouldn't argue against
Are
that.
all
Yeah.
so performance enhancing drugs? Is it like of that half? Are most of them just the same level of steroids, or is there a ton of stuff mixed in there? Like
No, there's a
different
ton of stuff
drugs?
mixed in there. I mean, you have guys that are just ridiculous with their steroid use, like Vitor Belfort. He's failed like 3 times. That's another guy that I've called out a handful of times. At this point, it's affected his maleness down here, so now he has to use them so he can actually just have some form of a sex life. Yes, I'm trying to call him out right now. So Joe, like his career, 50% of those fights, and so if this was baseball or soccer, it'd be a different story. But we are knocking each other out and trying to choke each other unconscious, and it is brutal and completely unfair when somebody is cheating.
Can you tell in the ring, in the moment, like when someone grabs you and you feel like maybe an unnatural strength? Like, do you know right away? Or you probably have known for a while watching him train.
So I fought this guy, Yoel Romero, and I didn't know if because he likes the Jesus a lot. I too like Jesus, but he really likes Jesus.
He's a huge fan.
Yeah, I thought he might be like filled with the Holy Spirit, but then later he failed a steroid test, and I was like, all right, it wasn't the Holy Spirit. It was the steroids.
I'm terrible at sarcasm.
No,
Did you
he
actually
just
think
wouldn't have put it
Yoel
here.
might have been clean? Did you think that for a second?
Yeah, no. I never thought he was clean ever.
Yeah, he's
like before the fight, I was saying that he's a cheater in every single way, both inside the octagon and outside of the octagon. So no.
There's a couple things about one. Of course, I hate to apply the eye test. Like you, for example, are a thickly muscled guy who I don't think is on steroids, but so that I'm saying that because the eye test can be inaccurate. But Romero, oh my God, hugest eye test failure ever. Just looking at the guy, you're like, humans don't look like that. He's like an action figure. It's crazy. And then beyond that,
you can see the cycle changes in his athletic shape. If you look at me from me being a collegiate athlete a really long time ago, let's not talk about how long ago that was, to today, I haven't really changed much. Yeah, I've always been like my dad was an Olympic athlete. Like I got some stupid genetics, but I get called out all the time, dude. Look at like no natural person has 8 abs. I was like, well, you know what, bitch? I work out 3 times a day, and do you know what I had for dinner? Let's look. There it is, right there. Can you see it?
Oh, that's a dinner of sadness. Yeah, there's nothing good on that
it
plate.
is.
Yeah.
It's
There's no one else there.
It's turkey and vegetables. That sucks.
So that's why you have
Another-
to spice up your life with pirates and ISIS, is you're eating boiled chicken and carrots every night.
Yeah,
Gotta have
seriously.
some sort of
like
excitement.
at this point, I'm either gonna suck start a shotgun, hop in the bathtub,
Suck start a
lukewarm
shotgun?
with some razor blades and vodka, or I'm gonna go hunt down some ISIS.
I want to try to get Yoel Romero pooped himself in the cage. And
3 times.
3 times at different fights.
Get it one.
Three
Everybody gets
different
one.
fights.
So sometimes people use
Ew.
diuretics
Ew.
to help them make weight, and if you poop yourself in the cage the next day,
That's an indicator.
perfect.
That's
That's an
an
indicator.
indicator.
I'm not
Wait,
saying
is that illegal?
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
not.
take a diuretic.
Yeah,
Right.
no, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. So
Oh.
if a guy's shitting himself in the cage the next day, he probably is just loaded with laxatives, and that helps you be a bigger human in a smaller weight class.
That's why risk it. Why risk shitting yourself in front of people?
That was Stoolgate number 1.
Because even the fights that he defecated on himself and his opponent, he still won those fights.
No, that should be a forfeit. You shit
I
yourself
agree.
every other sport. Like you can't just shit your pants running for a touchdown and it fills up those tight little pants and everybody like backs off the tackle and then just call that 6 points.
This is the
Fuck
first
you,
time that
that's
we
nonsense.
agreed on something. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I concur.
I concur as well. Yeah, that's silly. You mentioned that one of the guys was really dirty in the cage as well. What's something, like I know what dirty shit is in other sports, but in UFC, what's like a telltale dirty thing that someone watching it as a novice might not pick up?
The stool.
Kicks to the groin, pokes to the eyeball, fish hooking, grabbing the cage. Like when somebody's trying to take you down, you're like, I don't want to go on the ground. I'm going to hold on to the cage. That's cheating. Not getting off your stool in between rounds. So like, let's say in between round 1 and round 2, you have 60 seconds to recover to move into round 2. If you don't come out after 60 seconds, you are supposed to lose. But then you can do like little things like spill your ice bucket and be like, oh no, if you're really tired or you're hurt, you're like, I spilt my ice, hold on. Or you leave the stool in, or you put too much Vaseline on so the ref have to clean it off, and that whole entire time you're just sitting there going, oh, namaste, bitches. Namaste. Okay, I'm ready to fight. So there are a ton of ways that you can cheat in the ring. And
For people that don't know, Yoel Romero did that exact thing against Tim Kennedy at the end of, I don't know if it was the first or the second, but Tim had the guy knocked out. He got saved by the bell. What did you say?
I'm just agreeing and crying.
Oh, okay. He was knocked out. He got saved by the bell in between rounds. And then after 60 seconds, he effectively couldn't answer the bell, and that's a forfeit. So his corner did all kinds of like weird old school boxing tricks where they I think they failed to get the stool out in time.
They did. It was called Stoolgate, which is really weird.
Well,
No,
that's Stoolgate number 2,
Yeah,
because
that's not
Stoolgate number
clever.
1 was the pooping.
Yeah.
So, and I guess 4, I didn't know about the other 2, but yeah, so they didn't remove the stool, and they don't just start the fighters in there while there's a stool. That would be too dangerous. So he used that extra time to recover, and then he actually came back and won, which sucks because he lost. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a major failure on my part, though. I thought the fight was over. I thought the fight was over not once but twice. So when I didn't realize he was saved by the bell, I was celebrating. I was like, yeah, woo! I thought John McCarthy called the fight off. So then I went back to my corner, and I'm celebrating for 60 seconds, still screaming, pointing at Dana White, being like, yo, you're going to pay me. And then the ding, the bell, and I was like, oh, what's going on? I guess we're fighting. So I walk over to John, to the ref, to say, hey, are we fighting? And he's like, no, go back to your corner. And I was like, oh, awesome. He's still sitting down, and he's sitting there telling him, no mas, no mas. So I was like, sweet, I win again. I got 2 wins in one night. I wonder if they pay me my win bonus double.
They should.
Yeah, they did not. So,
I didn't think so.
Then about a minute later, he's like, all right, now you guys can fight. And I was like, what?
Did
I
you
had
think you were a
all
little
but taken my
flat?
gloves off.
Like you weren't sort of mentally
I was
Yeah, so
gone.
you were
Yeah, I
ready
was
for a
completely mentally gone. Yeah, I was thinking
so
about
you're
coming back to my bodacious brunette of a wife.
fight.
Man, what
I
an
watched
awful
that.
feeling to just finish beating the shit out of someone. You are already celebrating, and then somebody's like, oh, no, that animal over there, you're not done beating him up yet. Get in there. Start fighting. And you're already thinking
Yeah,
about dinner.
we were at
gaining
this
that weight back.
opposite. If we were on a graph, I'm going this way, leaving, and he's going this way, trying to come back into the fight. So we couldn't have been. You can't see my hands now, but one's way over there, and this one's way over here. So they're really far apart.
Very far.
That fight was. I watched it live,
Quite.
and I was convinced you were going to win. I was sure of it, but I didn't know how. Because Yoel Romero, the line I use is the perfect specimen, right? If aliens wanted to come to Earth and grab a perfect male specimen, they might return with him. He's all roided up, but he's I'm just how is Tim going to do this? And then you did, and
I did.
Then they undid it.
And then he cheated and got it. So to answer your question, there's lots of ways to cheat.
Yeah.
Wow. I've watched enough just sitting around. I've noticed a couple times hits to the back of the head. I know that's illegal, but I never see the
That is
fish
yep.
hooking and the eye gouging. There must be some stealthy motherfuckers with that, right? You'll get kicked out.
So the eye pokes, the eye pokes happen a lot. So instead of like punching with a closed fist like this, like pow, you go like pow, pow.
Oh.
And, yeah. And sometimes you're just trying to like defend yourself, and you're blocking, and then you like stick your finger in the dude's eye, and he's like and then boom, and you knock him out.
Sometimes long guys in particular will just use their long arms and their long fingers to keep you out of range. And while it's cheating, sometimes I don't know if they had cheating in their intent. Like, I get mixed up.
I agree.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
So, I guess I'm like, when are you going to fight again?
How much am I lagging now?
You're lagging.
Are you... smoke?
Fire.
That's the lag.
Oh, God. Get out of here.
It's terrible. What was I? I don't know.